Accent Wisdom Lesson warmly greets you all. People often say that a vegetarian diet lacks nutrition and eating meat is necessary to nourish the body. People with poor health cannot follow a vegetarian diet for long, otherwise their bodies will become increasingly weak. Or some people say that a balanced combination of vegetarian and non-vegetarian food is needed for balanced nutrition. This viewpoint is influenced by Western thought and modern scientific health concepts. It seems reasonable at first glance, but upon closer analysis, it has many significant problems, especially regarding the understanding of vegetarianism and health concepts. There are many biases and misunderstandings. I used to hold similar views. But after many years of studying and researching traditional culture, combined with personal practice and experience, especially after delving into the health philosophy of Taoism, I have gained a deeper understanding and elevated awareness of health and well-being. True health preservation involves cultivating both nature and life simultaneously. The highest level is returning to one's natural state. Vegetarianism is only an auxiliary practice to help cultivate nature and life and return to one's natural state. For those who truly understand health preservation, vegetarianism is only the first step. Therefore, it is said that vegetarianism is both health preservation and spiritual practice. Next, let us discuss this topic together. I will explain the secrets between vegetarianism and spiritual practice from the perspectives of Taoism, Buddhism, and modern science. This video is a bit long. I hope you can patiently watch it to the end. It will certainly help you elevate your understanding of health and well-being to a deeper level. Therefore, please set aside your current work and listen carefully. If you think what this old man says is reasonable, please give it a like. The Taoist perspective. Why is it said that vegetarianism is a basic auxiliary practice to cultivate both nature and life and return to one's natural state? In the early stages of spiritual practice and when one's skill is not yet high, vegetarianism helps transform the body and mind, assisting the practitioner in reaching a state of purity. When one's spiritual practice skill is higher, vegetarianism no longer meets the physical and mental requirements of the practitioner, so many people at this stage even give up grains, believing their energy is not high enough. They switch to using herbs with higher energy, drinking tea, or practicing fasting. This is the traditional Taoist method of health preservation and spiritual practice through seclusion. From this, it can be seen that the energy of vegetarian food is higher than that of meat. Why is that? Analyzing according to the 5 elements and yin-yang theory, among metal, wood, earth, only wood has the nature of growth and development, so its energy is the highest. Vegetarian food belongs to the wood element, so its energy is higher than other types of food, especially grains, whose growth nature is stronger than other vegetables. Eating more grains helps elevate energy, that is, enhances yang qi. Those who understand the Taoist principle of spiritual practice know that regardless of gender, cultivation must transform yin into yang. Due to physiological differences, the starting methods are different. Men can directly practice refining essence into qi. Women must practice refining blood into qi. Only after menstruation stops can they follow the same method as men. Whether it is essence or blood, they are both substances that must be refined to extract their essence. Spiritual practice is a process of continuously transforming yin into yang, reversing the postnatal state to return to the prenatal state, returning to the original state, returning to the original state. The original state is pure yang, called wuji in Taoism, which is neither born nor dies. Once falling into the duality of yin and yang, one immediately enters the cycle of birth and death. Yin often represents negative energy, bad emotions, delusions, and greed, all of which harm health, body, and mind. The normal state of health is naturally elevating yang qi so that yin can be smoothly eliminated. When yang qi is weak, yin cannot be dispersed, the body and mind will become ill, and meridians will be blocked, which is the root of disease. Practitioners refine the yin qi in the body, making yang qi abundant, thus achieving reverse growth, rejuvenation, the body like a newborn, the mind like a child, simple and true, and even transforming the mortal body into an immortal body, becoming an immortal or Buddha, transcending birth and death. Therefore, the body and mind of a practitioner are completely different from those of a non-practitioner. Their perception of food is also different. Those with heavy yin-qi in body and mind usually like to eat meat and cannot tolerate only eating vegetarian food, indulging in desires without methods to transform energy, so they feel hungry immediately when eating vegetarian food. Practitioners, as their body and mind become increasingly pure, naturally like to eat vegetarian food, dislike eating meat, and if they accidentally eat meat, they will feel uncomfortable because meat carries heavy yin-qi, hindering and damaging spiritual practice. This is why practitioners become more and more fond of vegetarianism as they practice, even fasting and secluding themselves without eating. Therefore, practitioners and non-practitioners cannot be equated in terms of diet. I advise non-practitioners to eat more vegetarian food to nourish the body and nature, but do not force them to be completely vegetarian because they do not have the physical and mental conditions to endure it. Doing so will be very painful. The best way to eat vegetarian is naturally from the heart, which is good, while forcing it is not good. For such people, they can choose the form of 3 pure meats. For those who have taken refuge and received the 5 precepts, they are not required to be completely vegetarian, but only allowed to eat 3 pure meats, that is, 3 conditions of purity. 1. Not seeing the sentient being being killed. 2. Not hearing the cry when killed. 3. Not being killed for oneself. Spiritual practice focuses on the intention. The precept of not killing is to cultivate compassion. When eating meat, people cannot eat out of compassion, mostly to satisfy their taste. Therefore, the Buddha set the minimum requirement to keep this precept. In many Mahayana scriptures, Chinese Buddhism advocates vegetarianism and even strictly prohibits eating meat. Laozi once said, "I am worried because I have this body." He meant that people worry about disasters because they overly value themselves. If one can think less about personal interests, do more good deeds, and think more for the collective and others, then gallbladder qi will naturally become stronger. People who like to eat meat in this life will continue to be influenced by this habit in the next life. You will unconsciously be reborn as an animal with the same habits, continuing to eat meat and create karma. Because of eating meat and continuous killing, your evil karma will accumulate more and more, and the retribution will become heavier and heavier. You can only endlessly cycle in the 3 evil paths, and in the cycle of rebirth, your direct and indirect retribution will become worse and worse. From the perspective of spiritual practice, a person with compassion naturally cannot bear to eat the meat of sentient beings. Eating the meat of sentient beings will create karmic obstacles, hindering spiritual practice. Many people who have left home still eat meat, such as in Theravada Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, etc. That is correct. In the precepts, Hinayana's individual liberation still allows monks to eat meat, but only limited to 3 pure meats. However, in Mahayana scriptures such as the Lankavatara Sutra, Surangama Sutra, Brahma Net Sutra, Nirvana Sutra, etc., eating meat is clearly prohibited. Allowing the consumption of 3 pure meats is only a temporary expedient. Those who practice Mahayana ultimately must completely abstain from meat. This shows that the Buddha's precepts are established according to each person's capacity. Different levels of spiritual practice have different requirements. For example, in Tibetan Buddhism, practitioners can eat 3 pure meats in the initial stage, but when their practice reaches a higher level, they are also required to be vegetarian. Especially when practicing bodhisattva practices, vegetarianism is mandatory. In various tantric sects, there are also clear regulations prohibiting meat consumption. However, practitioners and non-practitioners, even if they both eat meat, are still different. Eating meat may cause some karmic obstacles, but practitioners know methods to eliminate karma and diligently practice, so they can quickly eliminate that karma. Ordinary people cannot do this, so they cannot be compared to practitioners. Some Mahayana practitioners have realized emptiness. Even if they eat meat or kill, they no longer create karma. On the contrary, they have the power to liberate those sentient beings. Therefore, they cannot be absolutely equated. Thus, whether or not to eat vegetarian is not the only decisive factor for enlightenment. Vegetarianism will certainly support spiritual practice. Eating meat will create obstacles. Vegetarians will certainly achieve success. Meat eaters will certainly not achieve success. This needs to be clarified. However, true practitioners will naturally become more fond of vegetarianism as they progress, even abstaining from food, fasting, and secluding themselves. Their bodies and minds reflected outwardly will become increasingly youthful, while inwardly they will become increasingly pure. From the perspective of modern science, for ordinary people, spiritual practice may seem far from daily life, so I will analyze it more closely from the perspective of modern science to explain the effects of vegetarianism on physical and mental health. A 7-year study by Loma Linda University in the United States on vegetarians shows that vegetarians live about 15 years longer than meat eaters. A study in the UK followed 6,000 cases over 12 years, of which 5,000 were meat eaters. During that period, vegetarians were 40% less likely to die from cancer and 20% less likely to die from other diseases. Vegetarians are the group with the highest energy. This has been confirmed by science. Vegetarianism is truly beneficial for physical and mental health. Specific analysis is as follows. Vegetarianism is direct energy, taking only 1 to 2 hours to digest. Eating meat is indirect energy, taking 6 to 8 hours to digest. It consumes a lot of vital energy in the body. Vegetarianism, apart from issues of pesticide residue or environmental pollution, rarely carries viruses. Most viruses originate from animals. Vegetarianism is rich in vitamins and minerals, while meat contains a lot of fat, cholesterol, parasites, and heavy metals. The metabolites of vegetarian food are alkaline. An alkaline environment makes it impossible for bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells to survive. The metabolites of eating meat are acidic, easily creating a favorable environment for the development of bacteria and cancer cells. The human body does not need protein but needs amino acids. Amino acids are present in most plants. The protein in meat needs to be digested into amino acids and then synthesized into the protein the body needs. Therefore, the body does not necessarily need to obtain protein from animals. In addition, digesting meat is very difficult. Many people absorb less than 1/3 of the meat they eat. The body must secrete adrenaline to aid in digesting meat, consuming a lot of energy. Eating meat means eating the death of animals, containing a lot of damp toxins. When killed, animals are full of pain and fear, and their meat contains negative energy. Therefore, vegetarianism not only helps prevent cancer, reduces illness, beautifies and prolongs life, but also helps elevate wisdom and grow compassion. Modern people's understanding of vegetarianism is increasingly profound, and the number of people supporting vegetarianism is increasing. Whether for religious, spiritual, or health reasons, vegetarianism has become a fashionable trend and a sign of a healthy lifestyle. However, modern people are living in a severely polluted environment. Despite having many devices and hospitals, they face a sad reality. Hundreds of diseases coexist, and when modern medicine no longer dazzles people as before, why not try returning to ancient wisdom? For example, the Buddha's principle of vegetarianism or Hippocrates' advice on vegetarianism, the father of Western medicine. More than 2,000 years ago, East and West, without prior agreement, revealed the secrets of vegetarianism and spiritual practice. This is an important topic that anyone pursuing physical and mental health cannot ignore. Vegetarianism is one of the secrets to making spiritual practice smooth and successful. For practitioners, diet is more important than meditation, because the food we eat not only forms the foundation of the body but also affects thoughts and ideas. Many secrets of spiritual practice are related to the taste of vegetarian food and the close relationship between humans, the living environment, and the vast universe. The highest realm of the universe is like a realm full of joy, a magical power, the embodiment of love, peace, purity, and happiness. When this power fills nature, the surrounding environment will become cheerful, quiet, cool, and full of vitality. Choosing food carefully will unexpectedly nourish the body and mind, helping us stay healthy and mentally calm. Each type of food, due to its different nature, will have different effects on the body. All practitioners emphasize vegetarianism because grains, fruits, vegetables, except for onions, garlic, crabs, peanuts, are all plant-based foods that help create a clean body and nervous system, making the body healthy, pure, light, and full of vitality, easy to control and feel happy. Therefore, vegetarianism is a way of life that conforms to the laws of nature and survival in the universe. If you want to harmonize with the great power of the universe, understand the meaning and direction of life, then vegetarianism is a wonderful expedient means. Practitioners believe that vegetarianism for 80 days can help purify the body and mind. Buddhism believes that sentient beings have 8 consciousnesses, 6 roots, eyes, ears, nose, tongue. The 7th consciousness is manas. The 8th consciousness is alaya. Alaya, translated into Vietnamese, is storehouse consciousness, where all good and evil seeds we have sown are stored. Sowing good seeds yields good results. Sowing evil seeds yields evil results. Therefore, it is also called the 80-day storehouse consciousness. Correct and reasonable vegetarianism will make our bodies lighter and purer. Being pure for 80 days, both body and mind pure, can then feel the mystery of the universe, receive the integration of cosmic energy. A pure body requires a very important diet. Vegetarianism can make the body lighter. When the body is in a relatively pure state, the thoughts in the mind will be more consistent because all phenomena are created by the mind. The mind creates all actions, which is the origin of the material world. Only when guiding the mind in the right direction can the material world be correctly guided. Compassionate and wise thoughts are the most powerful energy. All karmic seeds are hidden in those 80 days. Especially the heaviest karma is killing karma. There is a lot of evil, chi, toxic chi, and hatred gathered in it. Stopping the downward spiral depends on whether one can stop the opportunity for sentient beings to be killed, whether by killing with one's own hands or witnessing the killing. If no longer sowing evil seeds into the 80-day field of the mind, pure good seeds will naturally sprout. Therefore, not eating meat will greatly help purify the 80 days, both physically and mentally. Vegetarianism helps the key meridians to flow smoothly. Key meridians are closely related to our health. As long as the key meridians are smooth, the person will certainly be very healthy and at the same time be a person who has achieved success in spiritual practice. Because the smoothness of the key meridians is greatly related to karma, the central meridian is where karma is stored. The cause of evil karma is the blockage of key meridians. When all obstacles in the key meridians are completely cleansed, people will escape the illusion like a dream, a bubble, a shadow. The more good karma, the smoother the key meridians. Conversely, the more evil karma, the more blocked the key meridians. And spiritual practice is continuously increasing good karma. Therefore, when the key meridians become increasingly smooth, health and spiritual practice both improve. Vegetarianism is a way to reduce the opportunity to accumulate evil karma into the key meridians. When an animal is killed due to fear, anxiety, and anger, it produces toxic chi, which accumulates in its body as toxic dampness. If we eat these things, we are bringing a lot of toxic chi and evil chi into our bodies. This does not help physical health or the purity and stability of the spirit, 100 harms and no benefits. Good people accumulate in the central meridian and key meridians. Doing good can cleanse the key meridians. As the saying goes, doing good is compassion for oneself and others. All good actions bring smoothness to the central meridian. When the central meridian is completely smooth, that is when one escapes the mental realm, the moment of perfect achievement. The mind and body are not two. A compassionate mind and a joyful state are important principles for smooth key meridians. As long as the mind is pure, the key meridians will be smooth, without obstacles. Vegetarianism in sacred places also helps the key field become peaceful. The key emitted by a person can resonate with different states of the key field. Key has many types, at least can be divided into two. black and white, or in other words, clear and turbid. Evil karma resonates with black ki, turbid ki, and karmic obstacles. Good karma resonates with white ki, clear ki, and wisdom ki. Expanding wisdom resonates with white ki. Expanding compassion also resonates with white ki. The ki field around a person is the manifestation of their karma. As in the Surangama Sutra, it is said that people who eat the meat of sentient beings will be feared when seen. The Sutra of the Western Knot also says that people who eat meat have a foul body, are shunned by saints and sages, and are abandoned by heavenly beings. Their breath is foul and prolonged, diseases increase, and they are troubled and restless throughout their lives. Therefore, vegetarianism can induce auspiciousness because it emits a good ki field, naturally attracting good things to come near. Vegetarianism also helps one easily enter a meditative state. The meditative state makes the body and mind stable and relaxed. When the ki meridians are smooth, the body naturally relaxes. When the night is dark and there is little disturbance, delusions decrease and the mind is easier to stabilize. Vegetarianism helps the body and mind avoid the influence of turbid ki. Thus, it moves towards stability, purity, and tranquility, suitable for the peaceful ki meridians and joy of the universe, naturally easily reaching the meditative state. Meditation is a state of peace and tranquility, completely different from the violence, pain, and sorrow of killing. Meditation is full of joy, completely different from the fear and unease of killing. Meditation is bright light, opposite to the dark shadows of killing karma. Vegetarianism leads our body and mind towards light, peace, and joy, because our lives do not need to be exchanged for the lives of other species. The blood in our bodies should be calm blood, not anxious, oppressive, and angry blood. Vegetarianism nurtures great compassion. Compassion is the most precious quality of a practitioner. It can be said that the higher the Dharma, the more the practitioner needs compassion to achieve success. When a person has compassion, their whole body will also show a very soft state. Therefore, it is often said that gentleness and compassion always go together, because in fact, body and mind influence each other. When the mind is compassionate, the body will naturally be soft. Compassion not only describes the soul, but also reflects the state of the body. Vegetarianism is another manifestation of compassion, because all sentient beings from time immemorial have been cycling in birth and death without rest. No one has not been a parent, sibling, relative, or close friend of yours, even cycled into birds and small creatures. In Buddhist scriptures, it is said that every piece of meat you eat has once been your relative. If you have no connection with you, it will not come to your mouth. Because you think that all sentient beings have once been your relatives, every life is as precious as yourself. All know pain, fear death, and meat comes from a life. Therefore, out of to kill, eat vegetarian. Moreover, vegetarian food itself has the function of cleansing and nourishing the body. Thanks to the combination of both body and mind, vegetarianism can help practitioners achieve great compassion, meditative power, freshness, and immersion in deep compassion. Vegetarianism is a great aid to spiritual practice. People with good karma, thank you for watching until the end. If today's video brings you any benefit, please give it a like in response. Please leave a message. Vegetarianism is both health preservation and spiritual practice. I wish you all aspirations, harmony, and fulfillment. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please press the subscribe button on the right to connect more deeply with us. Joyfully share to accumulate boundless merit.